can go on and do some live DPA. So this is this little worksheet that I wrote is actually doing both DPA and CPA. We're going to set it to DPA, just because you don't know CPA yet. But again, if you are curious about it, you can read last year's lecture notes. You can see last year's videos. You can read the excellent DPA book. And then you can just change one line of code, and this becomes AES. So the dataset I'm going to be using here is called WS2, and you can download it from the DPA book website, dpabook.org. And I'm just going to show you, these are traces which were captured with a real microcontroller. You actually saw pictures of this microcontroller, and I'm going to show you how an AES trace looks like. So first of all, let's load WS2. It takes a little while, and yeah, too much running at the same time. So the first thing I want to show you is the workspace here. Let me just want to make sure I'm not getting any super secret cyber results of my students posted to YouTube before they write the paper. So you must be very curious, what did I just clear? Also, some very exciting results. Yeah. So WS2 has 200 inputs. Each input has a trace associated with it. So can anybody tell me why is the array inputs 200 times 16? Why is each input size 16? bytes. Yeah, this is the input to the AES encryption. These are the plaintext. And why are the traces size 30,000? What are these? So these are power consumption traces. We just connected an oscilloscope. They connected an oscilloscope to the device on the test while it was encrypting. And these are just, yeah, there's many sample points. In fact, it's actually 10,000, 100,000 points, but I just wanted to make it shorter, so I just threw out the rest of it. I'm just looking at the first two sub-rounds, actually, so I don't really need all that. So I have 200 measurements. Each one has its input. And yeah, fantastic. Very, very interesting. Thank you, Matlab. And it has its own associated trace. So now this nice carpet. What I did here is I plotted all of the traces like a bitmap image. So this is a bitmap image. The x-axis is the time, and the y-axis is the trace index. There are 200 traces, and the color is the power consumption at this time. So what can we see? What can you observe looking at this? What is the first noticeable thing you see when you look at this image? What stands out here? Yes, so it's nicely aligned. You see very, very clearly these lines going from top to bottom, right? This means that this microcontroller, we managed to measure it very, very precisely at the very, very same time. So we know that it's processing exactly the same instruction in this time and in that time. So aligning, as I said, it's a complex problem, which we're not going to need. I don't have time to do it in this course. And another observation that is made by, I think it's going to be Dimitri. Did I get it right? So the yellow line is high power consumption, the blue line is low power consumption, the cyan line is medium power consumption. But I think it's Dimitri observed that the power consumption is quite similar between the traces. So there's not much difference between them, right? What that effectively means is that our signal is very, very weak. But thankfully, we have a lot of traces, so we can do it still. So now I want to zoom in on two different traces. from this set and just look at them very, very closely together. We're not attacking it, I'm just getting ready. And here are two traces. This is a zoom in of two lines in this graph. And you see that they are indeed very, very similar. Sometimes one of them is higher, sometimes one of the other one is higher. But I don't even know what the CPU is doing in this point in time. I don't know if this is related to the trace or not. I really don't know what's going on here. So my reverse engineering I didn't do it yet, right? I didn't do reverse engineering yet. Somewhere around here, the device under test is running through the AES algorithm and doing all sorts of stuff. So DPA is going to actually find the correct time and the correct key together. So now I want to do this little warm-up. So as I told you, there are 256 different guesses. We're not doing it. We're not doing the timing attack. We only had two different guesses. Key bit is 0 and key bit is 1. When we're doing DPA and CPA, it's a byte-wise operation. We're on AES. We are guessing 1 byte of the key. So I have 256 different guesses, and it's difficult enough to understand that part before adding the 256 different guesses. So I'm going to simplify it a bit. Again, inspired by the book, by the graph book. Let's assume we already know the correct key. By the way, this is not the correct key, but let's assume we know the correct key. Let's assume I'm only guessing. This is my guess. I'm guessing that the correct key is 120. What am I going to do to support my guess? So I think the right thing to write here is guessed key. Guessed key. Let's look at what I'm doing here. I think that's the only time. Yeah. So let's look at this. Let's look at this code. I'm going to, based on the key that I just guessed, split my data set into two bunches. Half of the traces go on one bunch, half of the traces go on the other bunch, based on one of the bits of the operation. So see what I'm doing here. First of all, I'm taking my input and XORing it with the key that I guessed. So this is plain text XOR key. And the next thing I'm doing is running subbytes on it. So I'm just doing sbox of plain text XOR key. And now I have a whole byte. I have a whole byte, and I know that if I guessed the key correctly, this byte is going to be processed by the device under test. But I don't know what to do with bytes. I only know what to do with bits. So I'm going to look at one of the bits inside this byte. I'm looking at the least significant bit here, and I'm going to say my hypothesis vector is going to be, if this bit is equal to 0, you go to the left pile. If this bit is 1, you go to the right pile. And I'm going to do this for all of my inputs. And okay. Let's run this. See what comes out. Yeah, okay, so this is what comes out. And what you see here is my hypothesis for each one of the inputs. It's easy to see that I only have two possible, I have two bins, so there's the yellow bin and the blue bin. And you see that if I guess that the key, for the guess that the key is 120, so these traces go into the blue bin, and these traces go into the yellow bins. So half of them go here, half of them. So let's just, for fun, I'm going to guess a different key. Instead of 120, I'm going to guess 119. And let's just run this section again. So pay attention to this graph. You see that it's changed? So I guessed them. I made a different guess, and now I'm splitting into the yellow bin and the blue bin in a different way. So just to make sure somebody is in here together with me, how many possible guesses do I have? Is anybody following? How many possible guesses do I have for the key? Yes, 256 different guesses. Each of the guess, you are at the top. You're the best because you believe in yourself. Um, each of the guesses gives me a way of splitting my traces into two piles, the yellow pile and the blue pile. I have 256 different ways of guessing. So now I need to do this for my 256 different, yeah, 256 different key guesses. So this is going to take a little while. I'm going to create this vector that you saw. I'm going to do it 256 different times for, you see, for the 256 key guesses, and I'm going to run this, and it takes a little while. Oh, you see it's finished. So now, this very scary looking carpet is what you saw here, what you saw for one guess, only for all possible key guesses. So if I fix, it's like, yes, it's a beautiful piece of artwork. Yeah. So if I fix a key guess, let's say my key guess is 50, this gives me a way of splitting my traces into the yellow pile and the blue pile. If I guess that the key is 100, I get a different way. So as I told you, all of these ways of splitting the key, the splitting are worthless except one. One of them is the correct key. All of the other ones are worthless. And when I was doing timing attack, I had two ways of splitting. One was good and one was bad. Here I have 256 ways of splitting. 255 are bad, and one of them is good, but it's not good all the time, only for a very limited time called the correct time. So carrying on. Now I am going to, okay, this is just, okay. Now I'm trying to see how the distance of means looks like. So look at this. I am guessing that the key is 2. I think this is a bad guess. It's not the right key. How do I check if this hypothesis is good? I'm going to find all of the traces which go into the left pile. This is 0 indices. I find all the traces go into the right pile. And this is a nice Matlab select operation. I'm going to calculate the mean of the left pile and the mean of the right pile. And I'm going to show you a plot of them overlaid on top of each other. And this is the wrong key guess. So what we're going to see here essentially is very, very hard to see because these two plots, these are two plots. Let's try to zoom in. Maybe I'll be able to show you. You see the blue? Very, very hard to see. I can see it here. You see it? There is the blue line and the orange line. I guess that 2 was the wrong guess. But you see that the blue and the orange are completely on top. They're essentially the same. So this is not the right key. So let's see what is the right key. So now I'm going to try for all key guesses. I'm going to do this again and again and again. And I'm going to save my outputs in this data structure. So let's run this. It takes a little while. Making my progress and running my, oh, okay, it's finished. So now I can show you the output of my distance of means. So what you see here is for all key guesses and for all times, what is the distance of means? So what can you tell me looking at this graph? What is the distance of means usually? Yeah, so yeah, the distance of means is basically 0 almost all of the time, or close to 0. I'm measuring 0. Why is that? Why is the distance of means 0? Why is it 0? So really, yeah. So my split was the power doesn't depend on my guess. That's a good explanation. My split was worthless, so I didn't get anything out of it. But if I look at my legend here, so what I did, I calculated the maximum, and you see the maximum is 8. So there is somewhere here in this carpet where we have 8. We have a nice difference between the two, and I hope I might. Why don't I get the zoomies? I think it's this one. I'm not sure. You see it? You see that? Where is my? Can I do that? How do I do it? I don't remember. There's supposed to be a box. So you see, there is an area here. Let's do the pen. So look at key guess 139. You're getting something here, right? You're getting some nice action, but if I keep moving, if I move forward, let's do this a little more intelligently. Let's do this. No, this isn't very interesting. Okay, I'm going to find out the correct time and the correct key. So I'm just finding where is the row with the maximum and where is the column with the maximum. And I'm just going to plot the key guess at the correct key. Oh, this is really bad. This isn't so good. Oh. Wait a second. Oh, I want this. I want this one, sorry. This one looks much better for CPA. This is what you want to see. Plotting. This takes a while to plot. So what you see here, this is a graph like the graph I showed you from Glass. I found out the correct key, and I'm drawing it in this ugly ass green. And all of the other lines are incorrect keys. And what you see here is the difference of means for all of these key guesses. And now I can just pan this a little if you want. And if you're not at the correct time, you see that all the traces are more or less around 0. But at the correct time, the green trace is actually very, very low, but doesn't really matter. It has a really, really, really good peak. It's far away from the center. And you can also see there's a ghost peak here. Unfortunately, this friend here is bothering us. And there are other areas which aren't so good because DPA is not the best way to do measurement. But we can see that we got the correct key. So the correct key is very, very different than the other traces. Now, is there anything else I want to show you?